So this is what we worked on last time, but when we select the object, we can see that the anchor point is too far, and we don't want that. So let's fix it by going back to Blender and adjusting few settings. And this is the part that we were working on. If we click here, we select the object, we can see that the orange dot is very far away. It's in the middle of the 3D scene, and we don't want that. We want this pivot or orange dot to be in the same location as this object, because right now if we rotate, for example, it rotates around that point, and that's not normal, or not intended at least. So one quick fix for that is we select the object, we see object, set origin, and origin to geometry. What this does is it takes it puts the origin in the median point of the model in 3D space. We can also change that orange dot to be anywhere we like using the help of the 3D cursor right here. Let me open shortcuts. And to do that, there are 3 steps. First, go into edit mode, and maybe we want the orange dot or the anchor or the origin, it has many names, to be exactly in the center of this piece. We can select this piece, Shift S, cursor to selected. Now the cursor is here. Step 2 is we go out of edit mode and object, sorry, that's step 3, but we go to object, set origin. Instead of origin to geometry, which will put it in the average 3D space within the object, we choose origin to 3D cursor. And that's it. Now we have the origin right here. If we rotate on the X, you can see that it rotates right here. This will not translate to PolyUp because PolyUp uses the average. So you just make the origin for mesh to be origin to geometry and be done with it. So yeah, that's it. The object uses 3 materials, one for frame right here on this side, one for wall, and one for ground. That's fine. Let's export again, but this time I want to exclude all the objects that I don't want to export right now. So I will create a temporary collection and name it maybe not export. Move all of these objects and their children. Remember, we want the children selected as well. So we open them, shift select everything, and move them to not export, and disable that. Oh, okay, we did something wrong. We don't want to move this. Yep, we selected our parent by mistake. So here there is an empty, yeah, we want that later, we don't want it now, so let's move it to that one. Okay, so these two as well. Okay, so now we have our piece. Let's export that again to GLTF embedded, export GLTF. Now let's switch to Safari, and let's remove everything here instead of the lights because we want the lights, and I will drag drop the file because that will be easier for me. So drag drop, there we have it. Now we select, and when we select this wall straight, Now the anchor is here and makes more sense, right? Let's check the other pieces. The group is now down here, which is wrong. Again, we need to fix that. Let me just get it out of the main group and see why is that a problem. So this one is really important. This one should be here instead of here. Let's check the anchors locations, and the anchors location are weird. So what happened is that this piece is supposed to be here. So let's switch back to Blender and see what's the problem. Okay, here everything seems normal. When we select the wall is here. When we select the mesh is here. So what's the problem? Well, let's check the items transformation values. If we select the parent is here. Okay, let's zero everything here. Maybe that will solve the problem. So it's in the world origin. And let's apply the location values of the wall. These ones for the mesh should be zeros. So let's Control A, apply location. But that moved the anchor far away. So this is a typical problem with this, and there is a fix for that. Let's select the mesh, Alt P to clear parent, and we clear and keep transformation. Now the mesh is outside the part parent, like this. Next, we select the mesh, we fix the anchor, just object, set origin to geometry, and apply the location. Now the anchor is in the world center, and that's okay. Now we select the mesh and reparent it. We select the parent again, Control P, and object. Now when we select the mesh, the locations are zeros, rotations are zeros, and scales are 1. So every mesh we make should abide by those values. Let's export and test again. GLB, GLTF embedded, export, remove the object, re-import it, and there you have it. It's a wall with no problems. Every time you make a part, you will have some of these issues when you are trying to make something, but you need to go back and forth between Blender and 3JS to see if you messed up anything. Sometimes these problems can be detected in Blender itself. But here we have it. We have the part. Only problem is it's using the wrong material shader. So we want it to be mesh tool material instead of mesh standard material. So we select this, and immediately it turns into white. It disabled the map, so we need to check it here. Now we have it back. Let's do the same for the brick texture. Mesh tool material, turn back the bricks, and lastly the ground texture, which is like this kind of bricks on the ground. And that's it. You can experiment with the values here. Some of them are interesting, like the bump. Maybe you can, if the object has a bump map, you can enable it. It will like create some realistic effect here, where these areas might extrude out and these dark areas go inside. This one doesn't have a bump map, so don't worry about that. So anyway, we have our first part in this library ready. Arcs, we have the doors, gateways, we have a corner here. Or do you have like another question not related to this library?
No, I have no question.
Okay, so let's create another part. So let's create this this door and this arc. So we select this wall. So this is supposed to go in here, and this one as well. Oops. Okay, so let's bring this one closer to here. We don't want this, and we don't want this. Let's close up on this. And last time we scaled this down to a value. I forgot what it was, so let's find out what it was by copying the same dimensions here. So we know for a fact that this width will be the same as this, or sorry, the other way around. So here the x dimension is half, so we select this. Let's join all of them into one mesh by selecting and hitting Ctrl G, and x would be half, so it's quarter the current dimensions. So we copy the same values, and then we apply the scale. So right now it fits perfectly. We just need the arc to fill this space. We can work on that later. Now let's focus on this part and create the anchors. Same way, like we always create anchors, we want it to be in the middle of this face, because this anchor will connect with this one here. We should shift S, cursor to selected, we go out, empty, arrows, 0.25, and we rotate it in the Y direction by 270. Let's do the same for the other side. 0.25, RY 90. So this is looking good. We need an anchor here so we can connect the arc to. So let's do that. This one is a tricky one. We don't have a face that we can select easily in the middle, so we just select both ends and hit Shift S, cursor to selected, and that will put the cursor in the middle. So we do that, and there you have. Hi, how are you?
Sorry for delay.
Sorry, what?
Sorry what's being late.
No worries, you can join us at any time. 270. Are you working on any parts?
Yes, now I'm changing the tab. So I'll send you after.
Okay, please do, and let's take a look at that. Or X 90. So you notice here that we didn't create an anchor on this side. Maybe we should, because we want to connect the rest of the like building or outside the building to that. So let's create an anchor here really quick. Or x90, like that one. This one should be parented to this part, so we select the parent, which is called oops. First, let's move all of these things to the collection and name them anchor. So anchor. Cool. So we select this anchor, we select this parent, control P, object. Now the anchor is inside this parent. Now we need to do the same for this part. We select all the anchors that we just created, and then lastly we select the parent, which is called wall 2, and control P and select object. So let's call this this is not a wall, actually it's a gateway, so let's call it that, gateway or portal between walls. So we have the second part ready. Let's create, like, fix the last one, which is the arc. It's too big. Hello, it's right here. We scale it by 0.25 because we did that for this one. GX, and this one has the same issue as this part, like the anchor or the origin is here. We want it to be in the middle, so set origin to geometry. I will make a new collection called arc 1 and move this here and then disable this. I will apply the position, so control A, location. Oops, I forgot to zero out the values, so now we say location. We also apply the rotation because now it's negative 180, and we apply the scale because it's 0.25. So this looks nice. Let's add the anchors. Let's actually put it on the ground. Let's first, like, there is a trick for that. Select these because I want the origin to be here, and the reason for that is now when I tell it to be in 0 in the Z axis, it will be exactly sitting on the floor. Let me zero out everything. Okay, this is nice. So let's create the anchors. If any one of you have any question, feel free.
I wanted to ask about anchors. Like, I don't know, I have issues putting anchors. I don't know, like, where I must put it.
Okay, so this is a great point to explain that. So let's say we have a model right here, and everything is as we want it to be. The dimensions are okay, scale is 1, rotation is 0, and position is 0. We want to create anchors, and first we need to think where to put these anchors. For example, I want to have an anchor on the top here, right? And it makes sense to put it in the center, not here, but in the center, because that's where it can make sense and connect with other parts. And it's like magnets, you only need one, you don't need many like Lego, you just need one. So the way to do that is select the object, hit tab or go into edit mode. Now you have two faces here. Now if we have only one face we select it, we will go over that in a bit, but here we have two, so we want it to be in the middle. We know that this edge here, this line, is in the middle, so we go into edge mode, we select this edge and we shift S, cursor to selected, then we go out of edit mode from here or just click tab on the keyboard. Now the 3D cursor is where the anchor would be. We just hit Shift A, we have this menu, we choose an arrow empty and we make it like small from here. Don't change the scale, just change the size from here, like maybe 0.25, just to be able to see it. And this is wonderful. The location is perfect, it's in the center. The other thing to pay attention to is the direction of the Z axis on this empty. It should go outside from the anchor location in the direction where another part would be. So if we want to connect it to this part like this line, this straight line should go directly in the direction of that new part. So this is actually perfect. So this is an anchor for this side. Let's create another one for this side. Again, go into edit mode. I want to select the face because this is one face and I want it to be in the center. Shift S, cursor to selected, go out of edit mode, Shift A, arrows, 0.25. Now here the Z doesn't go out, it goes like aligned with this surface and we don't want that. You just go into rotate and rotate it like this. So this is correct, this is great, like this one and this one, but here we want the value to be exactly 90, so it's exactly against the object. Oops, it was negative 90. You can see it's negative 90, not positive 90. We can put here negative 90 or 270 because, like you know, they're the same value. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. So let's create one anchor on the bottom here. Here it's a tricky one because it's an empty space, so we select 2 points where we are guaranteed to have a point in the middle, and it's actually in the word center, so that's perfect. Arrows 0.25. Now we need to rotate it, so rotate it like this, so it's going down because the new part that will connect to this will come right beneath it. We don't want random values like this, we want exactly 180, and that's our part. So now this would connect easily with other parts. 2 steps remaining. 1, we name the anchors. All of them should have the word anchor in them. And one last step is we create the parent that will have all these things in one group. So first we Shift S, cursor toward origin, Shift A, plane axis, so we can differentiate from the other empties, and we call it whatever we want, like arc, just arc, maybe arch 1. This will be the part. While selecting the arch, we select everything, we make sure everything is selected, we make sure that the new thing that we created, the arc 1, is yellow instead of orange. We hit Ctrl P on the keyboard and select object. Now this part is ready. like the other ones right here. So we select this arc, we move it around, so we have more parts now. We have 3. So we have this library. It's a new library with many walls and many shapes. If you look down here, you can see we don't need all of them, obviously. We need some of them. There are like too many options here. We can choose 24 parts and work from there. We just need to scale them down and make them like these, with the like similar values, anchors, etc. And then we can have it in PolyUp. We now have 3. We just need at least maybe 3 more, and we can publish that library. So anyone of you who wants to work on this library, please let me know, and I will give you the files and the video recordings, and you can start working on that. Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. If you or anyone else wants to work on this library, please let me know. If you know someone who might want to work on this library, please let them know. And see you tomorrow. Bye bye.